with everything that's going on right now, there's been a lot of talk about college football happening in the spring. Whether it's the Ivy League already announcing that they're moving to the spring, or just the general thought that potentially all of college football, because of the pandemic, because of everything that's happening right now, it would be more likely to take place during the spring. And so that has people thinking, maybe you have the NFL in the fall and you have college football in the spring, and then you'd get the year round football that a lot of people talk about. Or, like I said, just people saying, hey, because of outbreaks and positive tests, that could cause teams, the governing bodies to keep pushing it and pushing it further down, and then we have a spring football season. There's even been some talk that, hey, maybe the Power Five, the ACC, SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, Pac 12, they may still play this year in the fall, maybe conference only, and then the Group of Five, the Conference USA, the MAC, the AAC, the Mountain West, Sun Belt, they all move to the spring. And since they're not playing their non-conference schedule, they can then move their conference games to the spring. Maybe have a little bit of a non-conference schedule as well, and that. And what that talk has done is, if the Group of Five and maybe the FCS have to move to the spring, it's brought up the idea of a Group of Five playoff, and that is something that I've actually been a fan of over the last several years. We have our college football playoff right now, and it's been a success. Some people obviously want it to go to 8, but I think the 14 playoff that we currently have has been a tremendous success. It's got us, great matchups, so on and so forth. We've seen 6 years of it, and I think a lot of people have enjoyed it. Now, I've long thought that there should be a Group of Five playoff, because in all reality, none of these Group of Five teams have a realistic shot to make the college football playoff. We've seen Central Florida; they've had the highest ranking out of those last 6 years. In 2018, they are the 8th rated team in the final standings, and for as good a success that they had, they beat some good teams. That's the highest that we've ever seen. Before that, it was the year before, they were 12th. This past year, we had Memphis 17th. Western Michigan in 2016 was the 15th rated team. And under our current landscape, they have no shot. There's no shot for a Group of Five team to make it. The only way that they would be able to do so was if a team like Memphis or UCF, these Boise State, these brand name Group of Five schools, what we would need for this to happen is for them to already had a good year previously. Like Central Florida, the year they got 8th, they finished 12th the year before, beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. So you got to have that previous year. And then you have to have some marquee non-conference games. You have to go and play a good Power 5 team. You'd have to beat a high-rated SEC team. Whatever it be, SEC, ACC, whatever, a team that's going to finish in the top 10 or at least contend. Then you have to go into your conference. You have to win every single game, and you have to hope that your conference has teams that are also being rated playoffs. Because if you see these teams that barely miss out, like, for example, Oregon this past year, they had 2 losses, but they didn't have any quality wins. You got to have these teams that are finishing. The highest we've ever seen a team finish to like a Group of Five team was in 2010 in Boise State. They were number 3 in the BCS rankings, and that's the closest we've ever again. But that took Boise State of having that sustained success for quite a while. That's why I personally would have liked to see this Group of Five playoff. And I know those teams are like, no, we want to contend for the regular playoff. You're not going to make it. So if we take a look at this past year, the 2019 college football season, there was actually 4 teams that were rated in the final college football playoff rankings. Memphis was 17th. They ended up going. They were the team that went to the New Year's Six Bowls. They lost to Penn State. You had Boise State, which was 19th. You had Appalachian State, which was 20th. They won the Sun Belt. And then Cincinnati finished 21st. They're also in the ACC. So what you could do is just have the college football rankings and just take your top four. In this case, you would have two AAC teams, a Mountain West team, and a Sun Belt team. The other two conferences that are not representative, you have Conference USA, Florida Atlantic won their conference, and then in the MAC, the Miami of Ohio. You'd like to have maybe, I think you're going to run into the same problems that you have, where Georgia and Alabama made it a few years ago and you had two SEC schools. You're going to have times where you're going to have maybe two AAC teams or maybe two Mountain West teams. It's going to be no different as who's going to fill in that last spot. But I think the thing I like the most about a potential group of five is you see these good teams like Memphis this past year was easily the best group of five team. And yes, they got to go play Penn State, but they got beat. Then you look at Boise State. Who did they play in their bowl game? App State. They finished third. They played UAB in the New Orleans Bowl. I want to see these teams face off against each other. I'd love to see Memphis play Boise State. So you'd probably have Memphis play Cincinnati. Once again, I think they played been the third time they played. That's not ideal, but hey, it is what it is. Then you get to see Boise State versus App State. How fun would that game get? And then, like I said before, if Memphis and Boise State win, I would much rather see that game take place than seeing Boise State play the fifth ranked team in the Pac-12. So will this happen? No, I don't think it's ever going to happen. The only way it could is if we do get a situation this year where the group of five and the Power Five have to split and play in different parts because of the pandemic. But something to move forward. This would be so much more fun, so much more enjoyable, and I think it's going to boost ratings because, like I said, and App State and UAB playing in the New Orleans Bowl. Yes, it's probably the only bowl game playing that day, but is anyone truly watching that game? If you had this playoff, you had the marketing around it, it's going to draw so many more eyes. I think it's going to make more money for the schools. It's going to make more money for the networks, and it's just going to be more exciting, better football than what's out there in some of those bowl games right now. And then you get a national championship. App State was this powerhouse program in the FCS, and they moved up to the Sun Belt to get more money and more eyeballs, whatever it may be, but they're not contending for national championships. They had their best year and they finished 20th. And like I said, played in the New Orleans Bowl. Nothing against the New Orleans Bowl. New Orleans is amazing. But this would still get them a chance to win a quote-unquote national champion. So tell me what you think in the comments. I enjoy it. But I think it's something definitely. I love college football. I don't mind the bowl games, but I think this is going to be something that adds even more excitement. And if it's going to add more excitement, it's going to add better games. Why are we not doing it?